Yeah. You know what? Quickly, let's get a little elephant out of the room. Quickly, elephant. You know what I mean? Let's address the elephant in the room. Man was at the Mobos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that. You might
Snake.
not know. No. Let me give the context.
What you say?
So
Don't do that, man. Now with Mobos.
Hey, so last year,
Yeah.
or the time when it was last on, anyone that watched the pod knew the scenario of what happened. Big, massive stinker on their behalf. Yeah. It being, I'm not going to go all over it. I'll tell you what, if anything, just go in the description or whatever and you'll be able to watch it. I was nominated for an award, didn't really get the invite, and they was dealing with ban in a very mad way. Yeah. And so the thing was, which I explained at the time, which is still my fault, which is still how I think, yeah. I personally, I don't hold award shows to the highest regard. I don't. However, there's a young buck who does. There's a young buck from our culture that being called up on the nomination or whatever means everything to him. Do you know what I mean? And that you might have, or it doesn't even have to be a you. It could be an adult. It could be a person who's watched this for a long time or watched it for a long time and just really been inspired by all the people that have been there and whatnot. And being called up, you want to be a part of what an award show has to offer. Luckily for me, my mind doesn't really work like that. I've always just been a person who just keeps my head down and just does my thing. So when it ended up playing out how it did, came on the pod and I discussed it, talked about how much of a stinker it was, but also behind the scenes, what I had done was I'd sent them a really long email. Wasn't emotional. It was just some pointers in which I thought they needed to strongly think about. And it was, it was like just things that I felt like they needed to think about, things that there was things in there where, you know, I was talking about the way that people see the establishment and like just the way that they run their business, innit, yeah? And that they needed to pattern up. So I sent them a long email about it. They hit me back, but to me, I didn't need to read it because I just said what I needed to say, and that was that. There didn't need to be a conversation. But anyway, a year later, I got a phone call from Kanye King, who runs the Mobos or whatever.
Does a terrible job, go on.
And she said to me,
he can't help her.
He said to me, you know what, a year has gone by, would you be down for sitting down and having a conversation? So I was like, yeah, of course. So I went and met her and her assistant, and we sat and we had like a very open, I was very open and honest about what had happened at the Mobos, but also not even just that. It wasn't about my experience. It was just about like our scene and our culture and what the business and just everything. Like, you know, I was super direct with her, and also they apologized. That was the most important thing. They apologized. They talked about, you know, how difficult it can be for them sometimes, try to give me a little bit of insight into what it is that they're doing and whatnot. Sat and had that conversation, and that was that. So anyway, yeah, gone about my business, still doing my thing or whatnot. Then I get an email saying they're doing the Mobo Awards. We would like you to DJ at the after party. Here's the fee. Looked at the fee, thought, you know what? Feels right. Feels right.
Chucky's got a press.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then after that, it was like, you know what? We'd like you to present an award and whatever else. Yeah. So I thought, okay, cool. Come pick me up from my yard, take me down there, and then make me do everything I needed to do and whatnot. And then I did that. The show was cool. Everything was nice. Everything was the situation was a lot smoother than it was before. I think for them, I think when we sat and we had that conversation and we nitpicked into everything that they was doing, I do think that I'm not going to pull it all down to us, because there's a lot of people that feel a certain way towards the Mobos, and rightly so, because of how long this has been going on for and like the mistakes that they've made. But it did look like yesterday that they were making a strong effort to eradicate some of those issues.
Why?
And
why? Actions done by the same man, or two actions can look the same but have different intent. So I'm asking you now. It's beautiful what they done. Why?
Well, okay, you go. You lean into what you're saying.
I'm asking you why. Like, why do you reckon they done all of that?
I don't think it's good. I tell you what, one of the reasons being is that maybe they might have issues with people turning up now.
Okay.
That could be an issue. So if they are now having situations where artists, and especially some of the artists that are hitting that like a real notable part in their career, are turning around and saying, you know what, like, we've had X, Y, and Z situations with them. We don't want to come there anymore. Or, you know, there's certain emails that are just not getting responded. They have to do something about that, because you can't have an award show that is apparently for the culture, or for the culture, music of black origin, and that, and then some of the biggest, they're not even just the biggest artists in the country. There's some of the biggest artists in the world at the moment are turning around and saying, like, you know what, we don't like. I'm not going. There's certain artists that they're not in different parts of the world, you know. It's not that there's man in Australia or man in America or, you know, I don't know, Belgium or whatever. Some artists are choosing to stay in their yard than to go to an award show. I think when it starts to get like that, you have to do something about it. And even though, I think one of my issues with them was, from my experience, was that, like, I was saying to them, if you are nominated for an award, I know that, let's just say, for example, me and Skepta are nominated in the same category, yeah? Of course, Skepta is Skepta, and I am me. But if we're nominated for an award, just for half an hour or a couple of hours, we need to be treated like this. You can't treat him like that and then treat me like that.
And in the same category.
You can't, and we're in the same category. Right. That's crazy. That's crazy. And so to me, again, you know what, like, because I don't hold these things to the highest regard, you can deal with me like that. I'm just not going to go. It's cool. But to a young buck, that might scar him. And then if now he hits a Central C height or a Dave height or whatnot, and then he's now nominated for an award and you want him to turn up, what do you think is going to happen?
How about it's on YouTube?
What's that? What do you mean? It's being showed on BBC on Friday, I think.
Mobos. If I'm Channel 4 on TV...
It didn't come on TV.
No, it's coming on TV on Friday. It's on TV on Friday, but today we're recording on Thursday. This comes out on Sunday, so you'll see everything from there.
Does that play a part?
What? That it's not on TV?
No, it is on TV. I'm saying,
that is on TV.
No, it's on YouTube now. I'm saying.
No, the reason what plays a part, bro, is that, like, the reality is that the reputation is not great.
So it doesn't play no part. You're saying you don't see how YouTube plays a part.
What do you mean? Elaborate.
If you go from prime
TV to make in the first place,
if you go from primetime TV, primetime television, to YouTube, there's a difference. We have to acknowledge there's a difference. I want to know why we've gone from primetime TV to YouTube.
No, but it's still going to be on primetime TV.
It's just isn't it usually like the same day you're watching it that it's come out? Like, no, you might watch it like an hour later or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours.
All right,
so they could.
Sweet. Yeah. So now it's not the same day. Are we all in agreement? I think does that affect it a little bit? Yeah, it does. So now it's on YouTube.
I don't think it does.
I think it does. It definitely affects.
Do you know why I don't think it does? Sorry to interrupt you, bro. The only reason why I don't think it does is because I think for managers, agents, and all of that, their main thing will be for their artists, how much screen time are they getting?
All right.
If they don't,
you just mentioned the minority. I'm talking about the majority. You mentioned the minority.
I'm just talking about us as. I'm not talking
I'm talking about why the Mobos has chosen to take a different direction. I agree with everything you said. I believe that plays a part.
Right.
But I'm saying there has to be other stuff. I don't believe you just all done this in good faith. No way. Because if you'd done it in good faith, you would have done it time ago. I'm not over 2011. It's 2024. That's how I run. You haven't apologized for 2011. You've only apologized for 2023. You've probably apologized for 2017. But 2011 was a start of a lot of effery. You haven't apologized or rectified that. I just think you've done everything that people can see today. And because it's on YouTube, you don't have the same privileges you used to. So you've humbled yourself because of the circumstances. I believe this.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong. I'm not saying what you say doesn't play a part. I don't think there isn't some good people that have come to Mobos now and are doing good work. I do believe there are some good people at Mobos. But I don't think I'm heavily involved in football culture. And that's one thing I always take with me. Because when the chairman's the rest of it's a problem. And I'm just saying, as long as Kanye King's at the top, I do not trust this operation. And if that means that you break the heart of a little kid, so be it. I will also tell you, Santa's not real, Tooth Fairy's not real. Like, it doesn't matter, my guy. Like, the most important thing is that if I told this young child, you walk into this establishment, you'll be taken care of, that they're taken care of. Not that eventually down the line, you might get effed over because it's the dream. Like, I'm not interested in any of that. I said to TJ today, I don't care about two sides of the story. I care about the truth. And that has one side. If we care about different sides to the story, we could all have 9. So I just care about the truth. And the truth in this situation here for me is that if there was a trajectory and you were still going up, I wonder, would there be this love? Probably not. So when the love is not happening, I reckon there are people that come in and say we shouldn't do this. But the people that were a part of the problem in the first place, I don't believe you're doing this out of goodwill. Not one bit. Now you're in Sheffield, you're on the YouTube, all of a sudden,
do you know what
goodwill.
though? Have you got, because I don't want to, have you got something to say? Because I don't want to keep going back and forth.
I think sometimes you have to give people the benefit of the doubt as well.
Nah, not me.
Yeah,
not in this situation. I have too much information.
Especially when if well, I'm not talking about for everyone's situation. I'm talking about for his individual situation with them. Like, they've made him feel some type of way. They've come, if they didn't contact him to like they did, then he probably still now would feel some type of way.
100%.
Do you get what I'm saying? So he has to give them the benefit. He can't think, oh, you know what, did they only just do that because of... You just have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they done that to rectify what they done to me in the past.
And like I said, I reckon there are some good people at the Mobos, but everyone could do the Churchill dog in here all they want. I'm sorry. Award ceremonies like this that are meant to be for us. And then, you know, it's the problem that... See the Brit Awards doing the whole / //. Do you know
that's some joke.
Do you know who the first people were to do it? Okay. 2014, I was arguing in that room with Craig Mitch. There was about 30 people in the room with us. None of you opened your mouths. I'm not going to say your names. I'm only speaking about history. What brings us where we are today. And I'm saying, if the history of the situation was honest and it was consistently honest where discrepancies happened and they were quickly resolved, even though no one could see, I would trust the situation more. The only problem today is when a discrepancy happens, it's over your timeline, it's over your this, it's over your that, you can't avoid it. So eventually you have to make a change. And then I go, why should that be the reason to make a change? I'm saying you should want to make a change because you know it's the right thing to do. Not to take away from what Chucky's achieved or what TJ's going to achieve in the future or you or anybody. I rate you lot. I'm not talking about you lot when I'm speaking about them. I'm talking about them tabloid seed. Music of black origin. Go take a look what happened in 2011. Then take a look what happened in 2014. And now, all of a sudden, I should just accept it because it's, nah, Charlie.
No, you shouldn't. I don't think you should just accept it. But at what point do you say, at what point do you give them the benefit of the doubt?
No, at what point do they change, like, properly? Things. You're still doing things wrong, and until you get that right, because of the discrepancies you lot made, not I've made. I didn't do nothing. You lot done bad things. Until you clear up that mess, I'm not here for it.
Okay,
bro.
but how did they start? And I'm not.
They started it, not me.
I'm not trying to defend them or anything. But what I'm saying is this: if you're an artist that has, I don't know, been dealt with them in some type of way, and they reach out to you to try and rectify that. At what point do you say, all right, cool, you know what, in the past I said I'm not going Mobos, but now they've got at me and they've said this and they've kind of rectified the things that pissed me off in the past. Now they're kind of rectifying that with me. I can't really speak for anyone else.
100%.
Yeah. When do you say, all right, cool? Do you still say, nah, man, like, you need to fucking fix what you've done in the past? Or do you say, you need to do what you're doing for me? I hope you're doing this for everyone else that's in the category that might feel like how I feel. Or do you just say, all right, cool, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to come through this time?
So definitely, I think what you said is correct. It's down to the individual. I don't know everyone's lifestyles. I don't know everyone's nothing. So I say, that's why I never have a problem with the people. Chucky's meant to go. Do you know how happy I was to see Chucky getting work on there when they tried to embarrass my good friend? Do you know how happy I know that they're paying my brethren? Good. I'm glad because he's done it on merit. But what I'm saying to you is, Me personally, not that it should be open for everybody else. In 2011, the disrespect I saw, if something is bad, but they go, I'm going to treat you good.
Yeah.
For me, that's not enough.
That's not enough.
You've made a mess. I want you to clear your mess. And if you clear your mess, my brother, I'm in there, no problem, because it's music of black origin. I have to be supporting this. But you can't make a mess, walk away, and then be cool with everybody else, but there's still a mess behind you. That's just not the way I live my life. Not to say anybody should be anything different, because they're not privy to the information. They wasn't there. So for them to take on the same role as me, don't make sense. You got to take on your role. But I'm just saying, someone has to be me, you know? Someone has to be Chucky. Someone has to be, you know, whoever, but someone has to be me, because you've done wrong. You've done wrong.
So, okay, first things first, yeah. Everything that has happened in the past has not been forgotten. Me having a conversation, I'm a conversationalist anyway. So if I have a certain type of feeling towards you and what you do means something to me, if anyone knows me, I'm a person who 100% is picking up the phone and I'm having a conversation. 100. The thing is, with this, which I'd said to them before and which I'd said here, because I didn't necessarily hold it to the highest, I just said everything that I felt needed to be said to them, whether it had been said or not, and then I left it as that. However, I didn't dislike them or have strong feelings enough to not turn up to have a conversation with Kanye King. It just wasn't that deep for me to not go and sit and have a chat with her. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And for me to tell her in words how I felt and how people see what it is that she's doing, and for us to have a conversation about it. Yeah. So we did that. Ultimately, it's business. We didn't leave there best friends, loving each other and all of that type of stuff. But also, when they've then come to me, remember, I've never said that I was never going. I was always just like, if I get an invite to something and it feels right, I'll go. It's these. I don't turn up to an opening of an envelope, and I just go with a certain vibe sometime. But anyway, when they've then come to me about doing this thing, my situation with them was never deep enough for me to boycott it. It wasn't like you know what, well, because this happened to me and what's happened in the past, I'm not gonna go. How I feel is still how I feel, and the business that they're running is the business that they're running. They're gonna have to, at some point, have to do better. Even if I understand that, like, sometimes some people do better for the wrong intentions or whatever, but it goes to what I was saying before. You might not see me and Skepta the same, but at least that one day you have to at least pretend that we're getting the same type of treatment and that we are an equal for this day, because it's an award show. You get what I'm saying? So ultimately, at the end of it all, it was me going there out of an invite, but also looking around to see, like, is there anything that, like, have they actually fixed stuff? Is things better? Like, is it smoother? But I won't know all the ins and outs of that because it's their establishment and they will know. And there's going to be some other people that had a different experience to me. But over time, if it was the way that I saw it, they need to keep repeating that. And they need to do it. They need to do it at a time when the scene needs it, because that's going to be that will be their saving grace. One of the reasons why some people had big issues with the Mobos is because when the scene started to get a little bit shaky and it was a bit musically all over the place, they went musically all over the place when we needed them to stay with the name in the title, music of black origin. We shouldn't, with all due respect, it shouldn't be Ed Sheeran every minute and this, that, and this one's getting snubbed for, like, we need you. Like, right now, to be honest with you, it's not a thing that's needed. The scene is just going to do what it's going to do. We're good now. We're good now. But when the scene, because there is going to become a time, it's great now, people are making money and this, that, but there's going to become a time where the scene isn't where it is, and maybe money ain't going to be the way it was, and something else is going to be cool, and that's going to, or popular, and that's going to be the thing that people gravitate to, and that's when we're going to need you to deliver that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
See, for me, I've never really, and I probably could speak for the rest of the boy, but I know when I say this, I've never really cared about award shows. Yeah, not in any way. Just never cared about award shows. Yeah, because we've never felt like that's what validates us. Yeah. But at the same time, when I got the opportunity to perform at the Mobos, I went and performed, happily performed.
Right. Same.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So and the circumstances felt right. The treatment felt right. I went and performed. Now, when I got nominated a few times for Mobos, and I've never felt like the way they've reached out to me. I never really felt like it's something that's gonna make me jump up and go anywhere. So each time I've been nominated, I've not bothered to go. You get what I'm saying? And that's not to say that in the future, if I was to get nominated again and they didn't, and they got at me, but it felt right this time. Not to say I wouldn't go. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. I just feel like if that did happen now, just to say for argument's sake, next year I get nominated for a Mobo and they say for this year, boom, 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 and everything is how I expect it to be. Yeah, I'm gonna say to whoever else is in the category with me that I know, if there is anyone in the category that I know, like
for sure thing.
Has it? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is the person you need to speak to. Cause this is who I spoke to, and this is who my people them spoke to, and pattern.
You got to do it this way,
make sure
yeah.
Go that way. Do you get what I'm saying? And hopefully, everyone will get dealt with in this. But you can't fix the world for everyone. Let's just be realistic.
It's not about me fixing.
But you can set the seeds that might evoke some type of change.
But
you get what I'm saying?
But
and that's all you can really do.
Frisco, that's a problem to me. Listen, if this was the Brits, you don't hear me argue, you know. Let it be Mercury, you don't hear me argue, you know. Let it be something else, you don't hear me argue, you know. But the moment your thing is Mobo, and it's music of black origin, and you consistently get it wrong until you seem to have run out of money and now you have to humble yourself, I can't promise that when you get money again, you're going to be for me. Because you weren't for me at one point. And every bit of information I've got is from you. And I'm not speaking about a self-preserving situation. I'm saying like, yo, like, I might be cool, but how do I know that person is cool if every individual that's been that person has complained? How do I, what, should I just be here because I'm cool? That's not my style. I'm not saying that's anyone bad for that. I'm just saying, my guy, that thing is not safe. No one can promise me that it will be a safe place in the future. So because of that, you, man, just same way you've made me feel unsafe, have to figure out a way to make the community of people make this feel special again. Make people feel safe again. It's up to you lot. It can't be up to me.
But listen to this though, Paul, Listen to this though, Like, because I think like even some of the things that we're talking about is even different. Because I totally agree with what you're saying.
Same.
Yeah.
I fully agree with what you're saying. And like, don't get it twisted. Even if they do deal with this time, they get it right with you. They probably got it
wrong with someone. And that's all my problem is.
So that's where you need to
treat everyone right.
That's where you need to fix it. Just going back to what you said, you can't have two people in the same category and treat one man up here and the next man down there, despite whether this man's got whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? For that moment, you're both in the same category, so you should be dealt with as such. You get what I mean? So it doesn't mean that because they've dealt with you all right, but they haven't dealt with him all right.
2011 Mobos, we had to creep in.
So that's why I say I don't give a shit about
award shows to me.
Because it's like
I was happy. You know what? Yesterday was good. I'm not even taking it away. Yesterday was good. Like we had a good time, and like it was. It's I don't have much to go by because I haven't been loads of times. I've only ever been in certain dynamics or whatever. But speaking to people that I'd spoken to the last time around that are always having things to say, really, and rightly so. Everyone's like things are valid and whatnot. The vibe was a bit different that day.
Good.
Like most people were like, oh yeah, like you know what, this one was actually all right. I don't know what actually all right really is because I wasn't there before. I weren't there before that. Yeah. And anytime I've ever been, it's been in a dynamic of. And back then I was DJing for Angel, and we went and did a thing there. And I think one other time, a couple times I've been in and around the mix or whatnot, but just not really there like that. So I can't judge it that way. But from them, it was like, oh, you know what? Nah, this one felt better. This was good. This was whatever. Yeah. I'm looking at like who's getting the awards. That felt all right as well. You know what I mean? I love to see Potter getting an award.
Who won the Gram Award? Who won the Gram Award?
Bugsy. That was the only thing that I was a bit...
Go on.
I was a bit... When I saw that, I was like, hold on, wait 1 second. Because I was literally, when Bugsy won his award...
The flow down, man. They should have just... gave that
Big
to
up Flo
Dan.
Dan. Yeah, we're going to talk about Flo Dan in a bit.
Why didn't Flo Dan
We
win
have
that
to.
award? But go on anyway.
This one felt a little bit shaky. But, you know,
There
honourable
is
shout out
one
to Bugsy
mistake.
Malone.
You can't. I'm not gonna. And me, and this is coming from me. I won't go mad. It's like one mistake from where you lot are coming from. The dirt.
Yeah,
Done
yeah.
better,
I mean,
innit? But I
Bugsy,
said,
Bugsy. I mean, not Bugsy. Potter deservedly won.
Of course.
I love the way that they saluted Getz as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Jazzy B from Soul to Soul did the sickest speech. I love the DJ Spoonie thing where they I don't know, you ain't seen it, but like they did like some garage tribute and Viper and
I
all
saw
these
that.
lot started coming out. Whatever.
I've got Wi-Fi.
Did you sure you weren't asking for a link?
What?
You sure you weren't asking for a link? I know your style.
Yeah, that's my thing, innit? Give me the street.
Yeah. But everything else, Little Sims as well, Salt won as well. I felt like that was a super touch because I'm a massive fan of Salt and like Salt are so up. They're so up. But their thing also is like you might know elements of what they do and hear their name and hear it's proper cool, but you don't know. A lot of people don't know who's attached to it and whatever else. So even when they won their award, they're there, but they're not like, their whole thing is mystique. So
Yeah,
Little
but
Sims went up.
That's
Little Sims went up.
Mobo's. That's music of black origin. You think I knew what Frisco and certain man looked like before I heard that? That's what it's meant to be. So that's not alien
big
to
up
me.
them.
Shout out
Inflow
to
as
them,
well, one best producer as well. Big up Inflow. So yeah, it's like those things. It just. I didn't sit there this day thinking, rah.
So when the money's up, I just hope sure that the
Well, this is it.
consistency lies. And that's all it is. I define people by their own actions. I don't believe anything else other than you've shown me. So if you have shown me to be an untrustworthy situation, you can't blame anybody else other than yourselves. So you are an untrustworthy situation.
Honourable shout to Shits and Gigs as well. Yeah, they won media personality. But yeah, like my thing is, it echoes what you say. More so not the money, but the money is attached to it. It is when the scene one day becomes shaky again, that's when I need that. What I saw that day, I need to see that when the music, everyone starts making funny music again, or you know what, like the young youths start gravitating to flipping dance DJs or whatever else. You get what I'm saying? Because that's going to happen one day. One day, there's going to be a young David Guetta's son's going to be the guy. And he's going to be making tunes with everyone else, and it's just going to be that thing. And the scene's good. People are going to start looking at it and thinking, "Rah, do you know what? Can make a little young money off that. I'm going to go over there." But when they do go over there, I still need this to be this. And then then we can go from there.
Because I've never seen Mobos do that before, I don't trust it. And if you want to call me crazy for that, I'll turn the finger around and say, no, you're crazy.
Yeah. Well,
I only trust what you show me consistently. If you don't show that me consistently, in 2011, Jessie J won. Ed Sheeran won. I can go on if you like. Rizzle Kicks got given an award for no reason. Like, there's things that happen. I'm joking, Jordan, because you always get me mad. Like, I don't like that. And then moving forward, 2014, you're behind the scenes doing rap / grime / something else. Like, if there was struggles, put it this way, if there were struggles back in the day that I'm uninformed on,
wait, they didn't do rap / grime.
One, you can't tell me that didn't happen.
No, I'm talking about this time.
Exactly, we're talking about back in the day. We're talking about foundation and growth.
Oh,
I'm saying
that's
if
not
they
foundation though. To be fair,
for me it is, because I was there and it was at the start of
no,
it.
but come on, if you're doing the history thing, the foundation was like they've how
What
old
English
was Mobos?
acts? Well, for English acts, our foundation when grime gets introduced, because when Mobo starts there is no grime. So when grime is first
you're talking about
introduced, it's
foundation of grime.
rap / grime /
Oh,
we're
I
not
thought you
happy
were
with
talking
that.
about Mobo Foundation.
We're just not happy with that. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, I should have made it clear.
Okay.
We're not happy with that. So I'm just saying I'm not happy by the standards that they set, and they haven't really changed them to
1996,
me.
the Mobo started, by the way.
I'm not happy with them standards, man. So, if
But you know
change
what?
that-
Nah, I had a decent time yesterday. Big them up still, and obviously, long may it continue in a pure way.
Sorry, that's what I was gonna say. If there's discrepancies that I'm unaware of that you had to go through, maybe it was like on television. You
Rise
could,
up, rise
You could
up.
only show certain amount of faces, or you had to get a particular demographic on there, even in the Mobos. If these discrepancies happen, if you had them fights, speak about it today. Let people know, because no one don't know. Man, just left with this history that don't make no sense, and we just meant to move forward.
Who what?
That's
The
just,
Mobos.
Yeah, bro. They
Oh
probably went
look,
through
you know
this-
what? She mentioned a lot of things to me in that conversation, which I said to her. You should come and sit on the couch and talk about these things.
I won't be here.
But
Kanye
you know
King,
what it
I
is?
won't be here.
But
Don't
you know
worry.
what? Some of those things that she mentioned, I don't think it's not for me. It's not for me to have a private conversation and then be privy to some of this information and say it here.
Of course
I think
not.
it's for her to say that.
Of course.
But I'm still, because I came on the pod and I let everybody know, yo, this is how they dealt with man. I have to come back here again and say, here's the context. We sat down and had a conversation. The only way that I was gonna be able to go to this place is first the conversation. You still couldn't just offer me money and me turn up there. That money that they gave to me, Po. If they just hit me out of the blue and said, hey, we want you to DJ, here's this money, this exact same fee.
You're not going.
I'm not going.
I know you're not
No
going.
way.
I'm not going.
You're not on
The way that you get me there is by bringing me and us having a conversation and talking
understanding.
about it.
Yeah,
And
you're like
that's
that.
the way that I work.
Yeah, 100.
I can't move forward without that.
Yeah.
And if we don't do that, then you know what I mean, it's fine. But if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have any super ill direct animosity to them. I would just have my opinion on how I see that. It feeds into how I see award shows anyway. And I just go about my thing. With that day when that happened at the Mobos, I happily went to the gym, bro. I happily went to the gym, went home, had an early night. I think I came here and recorded the pod. I was fresh as a daisy. I was fresh as a daisy, and I meant it. That wasn't a performance. It was, my discrepancy was for the youth. It was for the person who loves this or really needs to be recognized or works so hard because they want that.
And nothing's
Because
changed to save
at one
that, though.
point that was me.
But nothing's changed to save
At
that.
one point
I
I
feel
would,
you know.
maybe so.